Hello everybody, this is Monty with Flowers by the Bunch. So today we're going to make a centerpiece, and we're going to use a glass container that was brought to us by the client. It's just a really pretty, almost an olive green glass container. The nice part is that it is green, so we're going to use some fresh floral foam in here, and I don't think there's going to be a problem with it really kind of showing through. You'll see it some, but it'll be dark enough that it'll work. I'm going to take my floral knife, and I have a block of fresh floral foam that has been soaked. I'm going to cut it in half. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to tuck it right into my container. And again, because the container is green, it's going to work out perfectly with the green foam. I'm going to take some tape. This is a waterproof tape. I was wiping my hands on my pants. I'm going to take this waterproof tape and I am going to tape the foam into place. Now, anytime you are using fresh floral foam, always soak your foam first, okay? It's very important that you do not use dry foam to insert stems into, because it will clog the stems and they will not drink the water. So always soak those stems first. So I am going to take my tape. I'm actually just going to tape across the top of that piece of tape where I attach the tape to the container. This is just going to kind of double secure that tape. Every once in a while this tape might not want to stick to a container, so you kind of have to be a little careful. So if you can double tape it, that's always a good thing. So I am going to start with my foliage. I have, let's see, the types of foliage that I have include a little bit of leatherleaf fern, some parfiola, I don't know how to say it, it's eucalyptus, and a little bit of Israeli ruscus. So I like to use an inexpensive greenery at first. And that's what I like leather leaf for, that fact that it's not a very expensive foliage. I'm just taking this leather, and you can see I'm kind of just popping it apart. I'm not using one real large stem. I'm just taking it and taking it apart and inserting it right into my foam, just like that, okay? And I am doing that with 3 pieces of leather leaf fern, and I'm just breaking it apart in smaller pieces and just tucking it right in. Yes, someone, which is wonderful. Anytime you hear me say something wrong, please tell me, because it's certainly, I want to say things right. I have been calling this eucalyptus Parfolia euc, and I don't think I'm saying it correctly. They corrected me, but it's hard for me to say that word. And so I always say it wrong. So y'all forgive me that I call this the wrong type of eucalyptus is what we're gonna call it. I'm gonna take my floral knife, and this is called Israeli ruscus. Now there are, we use 2 different types of ruscus. We use an Israeli ruscus or an Italian ruscus. Israeli is a more upright growth pattern with really pretty oval leaves, and Italian ruscus is more fancy. It has more of a vining growth, and we use it in more expensive arrangements. It's not used in, it's not a cheap foliage is what I'm trying to say. It's pretty pricey, but it is beautiful, and so it's very understandable that it's pricey. But so we don't use it a whole lot unless it's for a fancy wedding or something like that, or if I just get a good deal on it, then I'll definitely use it. So I am taking this Israeli ruscus, and it almost has little florets of leaves kind of coming all the way down. So I like to take it and just cut it into smaller pieces, and that way I am able to insert this same foliage all the way through using only 2 stems. It works out great. Next, I'm going to take my eucalyptus, and I'm basically going to do exactly the same thing. These have lots of little sprouts or shoots coming off, and so, or laterals, however you want to say it. I'm going to take and strip. I cut one little piece off. I stripped those leaves, and I am just going to cut them up and place them into my foam individually. So it'll go all the way throughout this arrangement. All right, so there we go. We've got our little greenery in our arrangement. It's already pretty with just our mixed greens. Next, we're going to come in with a little bit of Solidago filler. So I'm just going to take it, and kind of like I did my ruscus, I'm going to take it and break it apart. So I'm going to take the tip out, and then I have two separate insertions. So I'm going to take the first, and then this doesn't have a whole lot of color, but it does have a little bit, so I hate to throw that away. And I'm just going to tuck it down into that arrangement, and it gives me that sweet little yellow kind of all the way through. And this one I was able to break into 3 pieces. So if you can break them into smaller pieces and put them all the way throughout the arrangement, that's wonderful. And so this is only, these are $1 a stem here at our shop. And so that's $3 worth of filler flower, but you can see the filler flower all the way through. Next, we're going to come in with a couple of little green hydrangeas. So I am going to take them, and I'm going to remove the foliage. Now a mini green hydrangea is actually the bud state of a regular size hydrangea. It's just the bud state, so it's tight and closed. I'm going to take that stem. Hey Callie, can I get a quick dip? Callie's grabbing me some quick dip. Now I'm removing all the foliage, and I know I hate to do that. Thank you, Callie. I hate to remove the foliage, guys, but when it's going into foam like this, if you can remove the foliage, because what happens is the stem is a straw, and it drinks that water all the way up to the bloom. Well, when that foliage is on this stem, the water goes to the foliage first instead of to the bloom first. And so if you can remove that leaf, you are going to remove that first stop of the water. It's just going to go directly to the head of the flower. So I just took that stem, I'm cutting it at an angle, and I'm dipping it in quick dip. And I usually count to about 7 or so. And I'm just tucking that right down in that floral foam. So there's 2 stems there. Next, we're going to come in with this one beautiful oriental lily. Now, let me explain to you the best part about a lily. It's kind of like the Solidago and the Israeli ruscus. I have 3 separate flowers, or it's buds, but to me that's an insertion, so that's a flower. So I have one very tight bud, one cracked bud, and then one open bloom. Now that makes 3 total flowers for this arrangement. So I feel like I get so much for my money when I can use a lily in a centerpiece like this, because you get 3 blooms or 3 flowers that you can tuck into your arrangement. All right. So the flowers so far, we've used Solidago as a filler flower, 2 mini green hydrangeas, 1 oriental lily, but we had 3 blooms or buds on that lily. So that's so much fun. That's wonderful. Next, I'm going to come in. So our client asked that we use some brown in this arrangement. So let me show you what we're going to use as our brown. So this is a dried lotus pod. So you see how they have that pretty dark brown color. So these are dried. I am just going to take a skewer. This is just a bamboo skewer that you would use on the grill. And I just pierced my lotus pod with that skewer. Now you can absolutely glue these down if you wanted to, honestly. this arrangement's not going to travel a whole lot. It will be fine not gluing it down. So I just tucked him right down into that arrangement. And I'm just breaking that little skewer to get it the height that I need it. And I've just tucked those two right down into that arrangement. Next, we're going to come in with these sweet Hypericum berries. So Hypericum berries are also called coffee berries, and they come in lots of beautiful colors. For Valentine's Day this year, we're actually going to use lots of Hypericum berries for our arrangements. And the colors that we have include, I think we have one arrangement that's kind of a peach and pastel. Peaches and pinks, a touch of blue. We're going to use a peach Hypericum berry. And then we have a red arrangement that is red and purple called Royal Beauty. We're going to use red Hypericum berries. And so they're so much fun to work with. They come in lots of colors and they give you such a wonderful texture in an arrangement. So what you saw me do was I stripped off some of these bottom leaves that I don't need on the stem because they're going to be tucked in too deep. I just popped that stem and I tucked that sweet little berry right down in there. Love that green color. It is so pretty. Next, we're going to come in with a little bit of stock. I have two blooms or two stems of stock. Stock is what I would call a line flower. You see, obviously it's in a straight line, right? And so the one thing I love about stock is it smells so lovely. Now, stock is not like, if you've ever, when you think of line flower, I often think of blue delphinium or snapdragons usually are tall and showy, or even gladiolus are tall and showy. Stock is a little shorter and more compact. It's not quite as tall and slender as some of the other line flowers. So I like to cut it a little shorter sometimes and just tuck it deep down into my arrangement. Y'all, it smells so pretty. It's one of my favorite because it has such a lovely fragrance. It just smells pretty. Next, we're going to come in with our last flower. And this is the sweetest little daisy you have ever seen. This is called a yin yang daisy, and it's a little tiny white daisy. I mean, almost the size, I would say, of a nickel, and it has a little dark blue center. And you could probably even call it a black. It may be a little black center. Anyway, really dark center. But these are the sweetest little flowers. So often, if their little stems are long enough, I will take them and break them off individually and just tuck them in individually. Now, if you get to where the stems are a little shorter, you can certainly take a cluster of those daisies and tuck those all in together. But these are the sweetest little added touch. I love that they're very dainty and small, and they just make me happy. Now, daisies or chrysanthemums, they come in lots of different varieties. There's a button daisy and a standard little daisy and a Gerbera daisy and a Shasta daisy. So there's all varieties, all types, styles, shapes, colors, all the things of daisies. But I love them because they're very long lasting. And you feel like you get so much more for your money when a flower lasts a long time, don't you? Look how pretty this little arrangement is. So pretty. Now, because this customer, she brought in her container, we were able to make her money go a little further. So she spent $50 with us on this arrangement. And so we were able to give her a few more flowers because we didn't have to spend the money on a container for her. So if ever you have an arrangement that you would like to do for your home, if you have a pretty container that you can bring to your local florist, that's going to save you a little money. It's going to make your flowers go a little further. If you have a budget of $50, just like this customer did, because she brought the container, I did not have to pull the container out of my $50. And there is our little compact, so pretty and fun centerpiece for a lady's little luncheon. Guys, thank you so much for being here with me. If you have any questions about how we arrange flowers, even anything about the flower shop, we are so happy to answer those questions for you. You can drop them right here in the comments if you would like, and we will try to answer that for you. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a thumbs up. Let us know that you enjoyed it. And if you have not already subscribed to our channel, please be sure to do that. You can hit that little bell, will give you notifications, and hit that subscribe button, and you will get to see our videos. Guys, I hope you have a wonderful day. We'll see you soon.